This is Michael at Web Performance, and I'm going to share what I've been working on this past few weeks integrating AI into the upcoming WPLoadTester 7 release. Just for background, this is an HTTP-based load testing app which records your interactions with a web browser and then plays them back, simulating up to millions of users hitting your website. When you're measuring website performance, it's really important that you label what the user was doing throughout the test case so that later when you're looking at the performance of a particular step like place a product in a shopping cart, you actually see place product and shopping cart in the metrics and not something generic like transaction 7 in the report. That is easier said than done because with single page apps, which are really popular right now, they don't give a description like the older web pages did. So what I've had to do in the past is carefully go through the written script and then look at each JSON transaction that happened in the background and then edit all the titles by hand. And this took a while to get right. Now let's see what the AI assistant does with this task. All right, I've instructed the AI assistant to help out here with the titles. You'll notice that the first 4 web pages already have pretty good titles from the apps, but the last 3 just say application. That's all we know. It's going ahead and automatically updating those as we watch, and I know that those are accurate. I realize this seems like a trivial application, but actually getting this whole thing to work has been it's been a lot of work. This isn't prompt engineering. I had to code the agent's behavior using Amazon's new Agent Core platform, which essentially means teaching the agent how an actual engineer would approach test case development. The AI prompt is really on a couple of lines of code, and the bulk of the behavior is actually coded in Python. Just to give you an idea how this works, here I'm showing the UML message diagram from the example. You work from left to right, and the desktop app uses the Internet of Things messaging protocol to go through a rules engine to figure out which agent to send the request to. And then that's forwarded to Lambda, Amazon's container system, which finally then gets the request to the agent running in Amazon's Agent Core. Now let's look at a little more complex example, but it's a classic, debugging a broken test case. I just previously ran the test case and there were some errors, and you can see those in red on the screen. I'm going to ask the AI assistant to figure out what's going on, and that will kick off the debugging agent in the cloud that I've trained to use the same process that I use when debugging. It's going to examine the first error, figure out what happened, and then look at possible solutions. So it right away picked up on the 401 errors that you can see in the status column. And it looked at the content to see what the error was from a missing JWT token. And there it went, found where that token value is supposed to be taken from. Showing it to you right there, web page 3, transaction 2. And it created a detection rule to parse that value in real time when it's played back. And then it's bugging me because there's a bunch of other stuff that needs to be done on this test case as well, like configuring logins, that type of thing. But for now, let's just see if the rule that it added is going to work. So let's do a replay and make sure there's no errors. The cool thing about the fix here is that it just didn't fix this test case. It fixed all future test cases that had the same problem. So that goes in the database to use the next time. And look at that. The errors are gone. There's a lot more to be done to get this agent ready to ship with release 7. But I think there's a lot of potential here, especially for very complex test cases. I've been doing some experiments with really test cases that are difficult for me to explore, and it's been such a big help. I'm really optimistic about the practical applications for this when it gets in the field. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.